Do you know that some local courts in New South Wales operate over the weekends and on public holidays? It's Saturday and I'm at Newcastle Courthouse. Yes, they deal with cases on a Saturday and Sunday here. Court doesn't start the week planning to sit, rather they hear cases on the weekend if needed. In this series, I'm going to look at cases that have been heard over the weekend and attempt to discover what happened. Like my other series, when I follow cases, I will only use publicly available information. You can essentially do this same exercise. I don't use people's real names. It avoids heaps of privacy and defamation issues. I'm a non-party to the proceedings. I'm not a solicitor involved in the case. I'm not the police, and I'm not media. I'm just a member of the public. To start, local courts in New South Wales usually sit Monday to Friday between about 9:30am and they aim to finish by 4pm if they're lucky. Not all courts sit on the weekends. Usually it's local courts in Lismore, Port Macquarie, here in Newcastle, Parramatta for Sydney, Wollongong, Wagga Wagga, Dubbo and Tamworth. It's my understanding these weekend courts will sit for more urgent type of cases, like custody matters. Some call them bail courts. For example, if someone is arrested at 5pm on Friday and police refuse bail, they will therefore be in custody. However, the law requires the police to get the person into court as soon as practical. It's not expected that the person will sit in a cell and wait until 9:30 on Monday. Therefore, you go to court on the weekend. So just some general observations about the weekend courts. There's usually between 200 and 300 cases for each day, Saturday and Sunday, across the whole state. Parramatta is the busiest with 130 to 150 cases. Some cases are heard in a closed court, which means they are likely to be the children's court, meaning a young offender. Newcastle and Wollongong can have 30 or 40 cases. The rest of the courts might have 5 to 40 or none. As you guys know, I'm from the Hunter Valley, so I'm going to follow weekend cases in Newcastle Local Court because that's my local area. Being in Newcastle, I acknowledge the Awabakal people as the traditional custodians of the land here, and I pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. During my preparation, there has been a recent event in Forbes which has opened up a conversation about weekend courts. In April 2024, a woman was murdered in her home in Forbes. The person charged with murder was subject to an AVO, which was for the protection of the woman at the time of the alleged murder. The defendant had and still has charges for a number of other offences, including rape associated with the murdered woman. Many of the news reports give a timeline of events leading up to the alleged murder. This includes a bail release application dealt with by the local court on a Saturday, which was 16 days before the alleged murder. There are many continuing conversations about the issues around the Forbes murder, bail and weekend courts. I think it's a very important conversation to have. I actually don't intend to directly contribute to that conversation, however I might end up touching on similar issues. What I'm saying is I'm going to focus more on the lead up to the case and about discovering the information. What happened that caught the attention of police? What were the charges? And if possible, why was bail refused that meant the court needed to be opened up over the weekend? Which brings me to the biggest challenge I will face. As you guys know, I usually find out information about cases by attending court and listening from the public gallery. I find a lot of details using this method, and over time it's become one of my most efficient methods I rely on. However, there is no gallery on the weekends because the courthouse is closed to the public. Instead, I will have to rely on other ways to find out public information about these court cases. I have started watching the court lists on the weekend and will keep you posted.